when you do entrepreneurship, you need a completely different level of faith. Like, I'm not saying that your faith is less than when you work a 9 to 5, but you know when your check's coming, you know how much money you're getting, you know how the hours you put in. When you work in entrepreneurship, when you're starting a business and you're starting off for the first time, you're building something up for the first time, and you don't have anyone to guide you, man, you got to have a lot of faith. You have to have trust that the step you're about to take has a path in front of it. And you may not be able to see the rest of the path. You can only see the step. And you got to trust that the higher source, the most high, got your back, got your side, got your up, got your down, got your inners, got your outers. You have to have a different level of faith. The aptitude in which you trust, you don't know when that money's coming. You don't know how you're going to get this bill paid, these expenses taken care of. You don't know for sure, but you have so much faith and knowledge that God got you. You may not know how it's going to happen, but you know what is going to make it happen, and you know why. Who, what, and why. Who's going to make it happen? God. What they're going to do? They're going to make it happen for you. Why are they going to do it? Because the best you can imagine is only the worst they can give you. The highest level of what you can see, perceive of reality is the lowest perception they have of your life. They're not going to give you anything less than that. So imagine the greatest thing you could ever imagine. And that's what I'm doing. I'm building my life and bringing it to fruition. And then imagine that greatest thing you could ever imagine. That's literally the bottom of the totem pole to what you're going to receive. That's the bottom of the mountain. That's the bottom of the iceberg. That's nothing compared to what you're actually going to receive. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating? Like, I just think that when you do entrepreneurship, when you're engaging in pursuing a gift, all right, you know what? Let's remove entrepreneurship. If you're an athlete and you're pursuing a dream and you want to get to the pros, to the leagues, man, that takes work. Any endeavor that you're pursuing that requires you to literally be the best, you got to put the work in. And you may not know the outcomes, but you control the inputs, right? You can only control what you do with your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And over time, that'll add up, but you can't control what those lead to. That's it. But when entrepreneurship, when you have no other form of getting income, no other form of making money to provide for yourself, provide for your family, to get the food, to get the clothes, to get whatever it is you need to get, and you just trust that God's going to provide it all as long as you do the work, that's a different level of faith. It's easy to know that God got you when you work in a job. It's easy. Like, you may, oh man, rent's due, but at least I got these hours coming in from last week. You know what I'm saying? Rent's due when you're an entrepreneur, you don't got no clients. Oh shit. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep putting the work in till you get another client. And sometimes you get clients and it's like a snowball falling off a mountain. It just grows and grows and gets momentum. And then sometimes there's droughts, there's seasons for things, right? There's times for planting seed, there's times for tending to it, and there's times for harvesting it, and then there's also time for resting, storing it up. Make sure that you have enough for the next season. Sometimes you don't have enough in the winter. Sometimes the crops in the harvest time didn't come out the way they were supposed to. You don't have enough. Sometimes they didn't make anything. Sometimes you planted the wrong seed in the wrong soil, so you get nothing. Right? You can do everything right, and there could be a storm that comes and wipes everything out. You don't know what's going to happen. You can't control that. It's scary. But when you trust God, when you trust that everything's working out in your favor for the best interest at the highest level, and you move with that level of conviction, and you trust God, you trust yourself, you trust your actions, you trust what's happening, and you trust the process, oh man, beautiful things happen. Things transform in your life. Relationships transform in your life. Opportunities transform in your life. Things that you never possibly could have imagined just appear. You're like, there wasn't a door there before, but now there's a giant wall that got broken down just for you because you took action. I'm not a pastor, and I'm not preaching at you, but I am asking you to have a level of faith greater than what you expect to happen. what you know for certain is going to happen. Trust in the unknown. Know that the unknown still has certainty in it, that things will work in your favor to the highest level. Trust, let go, and just do what you need to do. You can't control the outer variables, the outcomes, but you can control the inputs. And you can trust that the inputs are going to guide you on the right path. Listen, you do something, you take action, you fail, guess what? Now you know what not to do. You try again. You trail, you sigh, you try again, and you don't give your best foot forward, and you don't succeed. You never know if it was meant for you or not because you didn't give your best foot forward. Now, if you give it everything you got, every single blood, sweat, and tear, every thought, every idea put into action, every high level achievement that you could think of, every action you could actually act upon, if you do this at the highest level, and you give it everything you have, all your energy, all your focus, all your determination, all your willpower, and you focus, and it doesn't work out, at least now you know for certain it wasn't meant for you. God didn't have it in plan for you. But you grew as a person and became better. Life doesn't get better by accident. It doesn't happen by making the wrong choices. It happens by making the right, ideal, intentional, conscious choices that lead to the right path. Because if you're going down the wrong path because you're taking steps here in the wrong direction, you're not going to get where you want to get to. All right? And right now, a lot of you guys have been going down the wrong path, but it's not because it's your fault. It's because you've been operating in the wrong identity. The identity has been given to you, taught to you, programmed into you by society, family, friends, and people in your environment. And until you switch from the real to the ideal you're never going to break that cycle. Grab this book right now so that you can change your life today. The blueprint's here. You are the only one that can make it happen for your life, though. So when you give it all you got and then you find out that it did work out, now you know it was meant for you. And you know you gave it all you got, so there's nothing you can take from you. Hello. That's all it takes is having that level of faith, that level of discipline to just trust yourself, trust God, trust the process, keep going, even in the face of uncertainty, because you know that even when you're not knowing stuff, there's something greater is happening. Opportunity is coming through that door. One opportunity can change your life. One opportunity can change everything. One person can change everything. One object can change everything. One change in location can change everything. One piece of clothing can change everything. One book, one idea, one word, one conversation, one something can change your entire life. And when you're in entrepreneurship, you got to give it everything you got. And you got to trust that God got you. Imagine if the people in the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, whatever you want to read, right? Imagine if the people who God entrusted to go do things didn't trust God and didn't follow through, where would they be? What would happen to them? Huh? We probably would never know because they wouldn't be talked about. You gotta trust, and the highest level of trust is taking action. Faith without works is dead. Works without faith is dead. You gotta put in a level of work that's backed by this faith. Otherwise, it's meaningless. And you gotta have a certain level of faith to take that action. Otherwise, believing that things are gonna work out, but never actually doing anything, gets you nowhere. And going somewhere, but not having faith for it to carry you, can get you somewhere, but it only get you to the highest level. Put the two together, and it's transformative. Entrepreneurship, to me, is the highest form of trust in God because you're literally applying your faith with action. What do you do in your life right now? What entrepreneurship have you been thinking about? What idea have you been wanting to implement? What choice have you been avoiding because you just didn't trust it was going to work out? I need you to drop that mindset of doubt, that mindset of fear, that spirit of uncertainty, and just go after it. Because you don't know doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. In fact, you should do it so that now you know. You should do it so now you know. Okay? I'm H.V. the Life Coach. As always, stay blessed, stay beautiful. I love you.